Hey, Jenny.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you were going to leave your video off tonight, were you?
I was gonna what? Sorry?
Leave your video off?
No,
No.
it's on, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see you.
Oh,
Good.
okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, I wasn't. Why did it show up was off?
Oh, you had it off in the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I just made a presumption. That's all. Yeah.
So
So how's things?
your time changed just this weekend then, right?
Yes. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, 2 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Okay. You go
So
ahead
that,
again.
yeah, well, it'll be an hour later. God, I have trouble with this one. Yes, it'll be an hour later next week
Oh,
with your current time. But you just changed time recently, didn't you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I think the two cancel out. So
yeah.
our clocks go back an hour tonight, and your clocks went forward an hour
Oh,
recently.
your clocks go backwards?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going out of daylight saving back to winter time.
Oh, wow. That's weird, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're just going into summer and we're just coming out of it.
Yeah. Wow. I thought it was the same everywhere, but I guess it's
Yeah. Yeah, time zones are weird. Yeah.
yeah.
But we're looking forward to not having the heat that we've been having.
Yeah. A little relief is always nice from any extreme.
Yeah. Well, it's still on Tuesday. There's still 30 degrees as predicted for the day.
That's not much of a relief, eh?
No, no, that's right. That's Tuesday. I think 24 is the next couple of days because we've
Okay.
got cloud cover at the moment. Yeah. So it's quite comfortable now.
Oh,
30 degrees is not. Yeah.
ours is so chaotic right now. Yesterday it was like 20 degrees and warm but really windy. Now this morning it's like 3. It's
Right.
such an extreme, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you're still getting snow, are you?
I think we're in the clear for that. I think.
Yeah, right.
You don't know. You just don't know. We had thunderstorms last week.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's
You
been
know,
rather dry here, so we celebrate when we get a bit of rain at the moment. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So
affects
how's
your
your
mood.
life been?
My
Sorry?
life's I said the weather affects your mood in that way. I found myself getting a little disappointed this morning because now it's going to be cold again today. You can't enjoy the day like you did yesterday. Those little things that get you a little discouraged and not as excited about the day ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did. I worked with one lady who lived in England, and every winter she got down because of the lack of light.
Mm,
It affected her. So I imagine people in Norway and places like that where they have
yeah,
those, long periods of time with little sun or no daylight or whatever. And other
yeah,
times they got daylight 24 hours a day. Yeah,
yeah,
that's hard to get your mind around. Yeah.
it is. But it also, I think it illustrates how your mind just tells you how to feel about something.
Mm,
You know, it's
yeah.
giving
Yeah.
labeling it good or bad, right? Is what I mean. And there's
Sure.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
still going to do the same thing you're going to do regardless of the day.
Yeah, I find that these days it doesn't make sense to call something psychological or physical. I can't see how they can be separated. They tend to
Mm.
run together. Yeah. So how's life been for you in the last 24 hours?
24 hour, great. Yeah. I had a really nice day yesterday. I had my grandson over and slept over. We went to the movies and hung out. And then I hung out with the other one, all of them for a little bit, then went for a super long walk. And yeah,
Yeah, great.
yeah, I'd have to say things. I'm definitely stopping more and going inside more, paying attention to what's going on, looking
So
for.
would it be accurate to say that your perspective on things is different to the way it used to be?
Yes, very. It's subtle, but yes, yes. I'm catching the stories a lot quicker and stopping them or just letting them go, just not paying attention to it. But I'm still feeling enmeshed as the story. It still feels like me. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Tell me more about it. It still feels like isn't the same as saying that you're getting lost in the stories. So you're talking about the stories when you say it feels like something. Just talk more about it. What's happening with the stories still. So
Oh,
sometimes you're recognizing them and either letting them go or telling yourself another story about ignoring them.
oh. Um,
And then other times what's happening. Yeah.
Other times it's just I ignore it and that it just stops. There's like no more dialogue about it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not necessary to pay attention to.
Yeah. Do you get that at this point you can continue to do that? You can do that recognizing that they are stories and that they can be ignored, but the fact that they turned up tells you something. So you don't. So when you ignore it, are you telling yourself to ignore it, or are you finding that ignoring happens simply because you recognize that it's a story? So we're at a more subtle level now. We're looking at
Yeah.
the details a bit differently.
I get I feel like it excuse me, it's more of an excuse me, of an ignoring. And I don't know if I'm telling myself to ignore it or not. I haven't paid that much attention to that part. I'll have to really slow
Yeah,
down there.
next you'll notice it. You'll notice it now as a result of this conversation. Yeah. So
What was the other side of that question you asked me? If I notice I'm ignoring it, or if what? What's the other?
yeah. So so let's play out a fantasy that a story turns up about something and you recognize that it's a story. What happens then? Does another story turn up to say, "Oh, that's just a story, so ignore it"? Or does another story turn up that says, "This is interesting"? Or does
Oh,
what happens when you recognize that a story has arrived?
that I can't answer. I
Right.
can't answer right now for you. I don't know. I know that
Right.
I'm just dropping it easier than I have before. Like I'm not catching on and going with it as much.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So something is happening that doesn't suck you in to the
Yes.
content of the story in the way it used to.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you're not
Yes.
sure you haven't recognized what it is that's doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm suggesting as a possibility for you, like, is kind of the next step, and that
Okay.
and that is that that will continue to happen, that you'll recognize that it's a story, and that recognition alone is enough to not suck you in, to recognize that it's a story that's playing out,
Yeah.
right? And what I would like to happen is that included with that happening comes a curiosity about what is the fact of that story revealing about me. Not looking for an answer, mind you. Now this is where it gets tricky. See, so we're not saying we want to know what's behind the story. We're saying we're inviting some more realization about the nature of the story to reveal itself. And there's no right or wrong, and there's no success or failure in this. It's just that there includes. It would be good if you saw that a story exists. See, and when you do that, you're obviously not lost in the content of the story. You're recognizing the fact that a story has turned up. Right now, that alone is enough for you to not get sucked into the content of the story. But the content of the story reveals, and it doesn't have to be detailed, but the content of the story reveals the nature of the story, the flavor, if you like, of the story. And that could be an optimistic story or a pessimistic story, or all sorts of possibilities involved in the flavor of the story, right?
Okay.
And so what we're doing is we're saying, isn't it interesting that this story with this particular flavor turns up, and with that is a kind of an implicit invitation for it to reveal itself, for something to reveal itself about your conditioning,
Mm.
about why that particular flavor is part of your habitual response to those circumstances. You see, and so what we haven't talked about here is that stories happen because they get triggered.
Right.
And so what we're really inviting to happen is for the 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 nature of the conditions that trigger the story to reveal
Oof.
themselves.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's like to me that I just got an image of a big ball of yarn so tied up and you're trying just to find
That's a
somewhere just
great, yeah,
just one little piece to unravel just to start it.
yes. And then you can almost imagine how easy it would be that you can hold on to that end that's shown itself, and drop the ball, and it will just roll away and unravel. for you. It just,
once you unlock that one little
yes,
area,
yes, yeah,
because that I understand exactly what you're suggesting, and I'm intrigued. And
great.
I
That's beautiful.
it's so like I couldn't even imagine what would have triggered one of my worry thoughts because that's normally the flavor. Um, like what is it that I'm taking in that triggered it? Because I'm normally alone.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not,
Well, see,
like
this is really interesting stuff, and it's really amazing. You know, it's like now here's a really gross fantasy example, right? That some bloke with a handlebar moustache kind of scares you
oh,
when you were a kid, right?
oh yeah,
And forever on after that, without you don't even remember that incident happening. But every time you
yeah,
see somebody with a handlebar moustache, you go, oh,
yeah,
and you tighten up and you have a response to it, right? Well, it's that
yeah.
kind of thing. It could be a tone of voice, it could be words that are said, it could be the color of a sweater, it could be anything you can imagine could be
Wow.
involved in the triggering of something in you because it reminds you, even though you don't realize it's going on, because it all happens at an unconscious level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
That is
and we're not really looking for the details of what it is as
right.
much as just what the flavor of it is.
The association to what came
Yeah,
up, right?
yeah,
It's so interesting. I can't wait to watch that, to see it, to see the connection.
yep,
Because as usual, normally my worry thoughts are about my grandkids and my child and their, their future,
yeah,
usually, all most of the time.
yeah.
So like I'm
So
wondering what would be around me to do that. That is
yeah,
so freaking interesting.
yeah. Well, of course, and grandkids are fantastic examples, you know. And so here we get we recognize this thing called projection, where what we don't want for our grandkids, what we had as a kid, we want something better for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And even though we don't remember what it was we got, we really want to
Yeah.
give them the
So how
best
does
they can. Yeah.
so you're saying that something's arising in me subconsciously, excuse my throat, um, that I don't want for my grandkids.
That that that's a good possibility.
But where, how would I even begin to recognize that when nothing's going on? I could be lying in bed in the dark, like I'm just waking up and things start.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
There's
It's
nothing
it's
stimulating
it's
me.
yeah, it's going too far to think that we need to, or that we even can discover the actual details,
Oh, okay.
and we don't need to. Uh, so when
Okay.
so here's this thing this story that when your senses get stimulated, whether it be say let's say your sense of sight, for example, you see something, right? Then what happens is you see it with your eyes. Okay, they're your sense organs for sight, right? And what the eyes do is that they respond in a certain way and they generate a nerve impulse, which we can see in biology. That nerve impulse, that there are nerves that run up to certain parts of the brain from your eyes, and so your eyes are only responding to light. And the consequence is that there's this signal that goes to your brain, and your brain, the sight center in your brain, receives this nerve impulse, and it deciphers that and says, "Oh, I'm seeing something," and it then describes what it's seeing. Not describes, but it defines what it's seeing, right, according to what you know, according to your history, which is the biggest part of it, right? And then it gives you the experience of seeing something. Right? So you don't have the experience until the brain gets a hold of the nerve signal that comes from your eyes. Same with hearing, same with touch, same with smell, same with all of the senses. Right?
Hmm.
And the consequence is that you think what you're seeing is something out there, but the experience is happening in there, in the brain. So when you see other people, you immediately, from your experience, and it's not just seeing, it's hearing and all sorts of things that come into it, but you you predict
Yeah.
an experience from that person. That person doesn't exist as something outside of you. It exists as your interpretation of that person. And so when you have an interpretation, it's obviously not novel. It is based on your experience, based on your learning, based on your conditioning. And, and so without you having had an experience, you can't imagine that same experience in somebody else. You can only imagine it because you've had a version of it for yourself.
Okay.
So when you see your grandkids, you're really seeing yourself as a young person. Not as that's simplistic, but you know what I mean? It's like you're seeing your all of your experience as a young person that got filed away is reactivated. Now, it's not to say that they're not unique, they're not out there, they're not individuals, and that they're real people. Of course they are. All of that stuff exists, but your interpretation of what they're going through is based on your own experience.
Everything they do. Everything.
Well, can you think of an exception?
I don't know. That just sounds so weird.
Yeah,
So, other people, what they're seeing, what if they see the same thing I see?
they don't never. How can you know that? Nobody will see the same thing you see. At a simplistic level, and this is what we call a consensual reality,
Okay.
right? Yeah, we can decide, yes, yes, we're both looking at the color green. But your experience of that color green is going to be different to my experience of that color green.
Okay.
But we just
So,
agree at a simplistic level that yes, yes, it's green.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, everything they do, I'm seeing it through my
Your
history
interpretation, yes.
based on, so I think it's only because I've experienced it. I I'm it That's how my brain's telling me what's going on with them.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But obviously it's very complex. It's not a simplistic thing like we're
Oh,
making it out to be now, right?
no.
So it's not going to be a direct repetition of what you experience. It's going to be modified by your whole history and by all of the current external circumstances that you're
Okay.
responding to as well. But,
Okay. Okay.
but
From like, my whole life.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. It's because there's keeping it's adding on all the time and
yeah,
changing.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh
if I
wow.
say to you, you're a lovely person, it's obvious that that's my interpretation
Yeah.
of what I say. It's got nothing to do with you. If I
Yes.
say you're a horrible person, it's the way I was seeing things. It's not got anything to do with you. I can't
Right.
know anything about you. I can only know my interpretation of you.
Right.
And yet, I want to know more about you. I'm interested in what your experience is, and that modifies my experience.
Right.
So when I ask you questions about how things have been for you, or, like the idea about what happens in your mouth, or what happens with your ears, or what happens with your grandkids, it's very interesting.
Mhm.
And that expands my experience when I hear about that.
Wow.
But it's a huge thing. It's an absolutely huge thing to recognize that when we think we know what's going on for somebody else, that we recognize that we can't actually know. We can only have our interpretation. Now, if you go one step further, here's a really interesting one and a big one, absolutely huge. This one, your only reality is your current experiencing. Apart from that, everything else is conceptual. And if you think about it and you engage with a concept, then you'll have an experience of the concept, not of the thing, not of what you think about. Right? If you think about the pyramids in Egypt, or no, well, let's take something. Have you ever seen Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good one, right? So if you think about Niagara Falls now, you only have memory,
Right.
and that memory is reconstructed. So it's not even accurate. If you were to take a picture of your memory and then go to Niagara Falls, you'd be amazed at how different the two are.
Yeah.
But well, okay, so Niagara Falls is not part of your current experiencing. It's just a concept right now. It only exists as an idea for you right now in this instant.
I get that with, the things that I'm not attached to, like my
Mm.
family, right?
Yeah,
It's easier
your
things
family
that,
has a special place for you, right? And that's obvious. Uh, but that special place happens as a result of stories you've got. And if you were to come across let's say this strange woman turns up at your door, or you meet her down at the shopping centre, right? And you start talking to her, and you have these ideas about who she is and so on, and you start talking, and she tells you about her life and what's going on for her and so on, and you get to know her more as a result of that. But you're still saying to yourself, okay, this is just my interpretation. And then along comes a bit of information, and it turns out that she's your sister. All of a sudden, you feel different towards her, right?
I probably would. Yes.
Absolutely, you would, for sure.
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
that? not because of anything physical, but because of the fact that you know she is your sister. She is related to you, that you share parents or whatever. You know, it's a fantasy, but okay. But
No.
you can see how that bit of knowledge changes the way you feel about her.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she has a special place for you as a result of your stories that you've
Okay.
experienced. Yeah.
You're trying to make what you're trying to display to me. Just there's this lady walking on the street that I see all the time. Like, um,
You wonder forever now whether she's your sister.
oh, something about her that I find remarkable. But I lost my train of thought. What you were,
Uh,
shit. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not wanting to undo anything, right? Of course, your family will always have a special place for you,
Right. That's what I
right?
was trying to get at, is that you're just
Yeah.
showing me that it's still there. You're still going to have those feelings, but the to recognize it's a story that's being made about it
Yes.
because you
Right.
don't
See,
have
so we're moving from, we're kind of moving fairly fast here. So we've gone from recognizing that stories, that us getting lost in stories is where suffering happens,
yes. Yeah.
right? And so then we adopt a different relationship to stories, right? And so then I went on about using the recognition of the flavor of stories to tell you something about what's going on for you,
Right.
right? But I'm jumping ahead a bit fast here in a way, and the next level is for you to realize it's all stories, stories
Yeah.
all the way down. We we live in stories. Everything is stories. Everything stories. There are stories about everything that especially anything that we involve the mind with. We've got stories about. But a lot of those stories, the way I put it is that they got hardwired into the body. So we don't have a narrative anymore for those stories that conditioned us as kids, but our bodies do. Our bodies know about it. They don't say words. They don't tell us,
Yes.
right? But
Okay.
but they
Yes.
respond to the
Yes.
stories that they used to have narrative once upon a time, and then
Right.
they didn't. They just got hardwired in. They become part of our nervous system,
Right. I
right?
understand.
And
Yes.
it's very useful once you get
Yeah.
to that level. And we're kind of you're on the cusp of that stuff. Where stories, they're not our enemy,
Yeah.
but but we've got to be free of the ones that we used to get lost in that spiraled off into suffering before we
Yes.
can start to appreciate the value of what actually happens with stories. Yeah.
And they're never going to go away. We're
Of
never
course
going
not.
to
No,
that,
we can,
right?
we're
Never.
human. We can't exist without them.
Yeah. And to think that that's going to happen is just a fantasy.
That's right. Yeah. Another story. Yeah.
Well, you've given me some grit for the mill today. I'll tell you. That's I'm really
Yeah.
looking.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. It happens like this, maybe because of the time changes or whatever, but you're essentially the only person that's turned up to do some work tonight. And
Lucky
then
me.
and then just joins to soak up the vibe, I suppose. Elad comes along to help, but he's gone off to do something else. Yeah, so you're it tonight, and that's good value, eh? That's very
Oh,
lucky.
I'm lucky. I am.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here meditating or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like boredom and always like what you're going to do for the day. That's just part of what's going to always happen, right?
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to wake up and be this serene person being able to sit in my living room and do nothing all day. That's just, I don't think the body would let me do that, really.
No, that's right. And you wouldn't be healthy for you to do that, would it?
No.
Yeah, you need to move and do your steps and whatever. Yeah. Mm. But it doesn't mean you won't do it for as long as it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. So the my takeaway is the stories, and when I am lucky enough to catch them, to see what the flavor is, right?
Yep.
And then just recognize that that's a story of it's a flavor of a story,
Well,
and that's
if you can catch the flavor, you know,
okay.
the nature of the story that turns up. You said that the nature of most of your, well, these are my words. A lot of your stories have a flavor of worry
Yes.
about them. Yeah, yeah. But there'll be others as well. The ones that you haven't noticed, is for sure.
Yeah.
All sorts of ones. I mean, you don't have worry stories all the time about your grandkids because a lot of the time your stories are how fucking wonderful are they? You know, how good is it to spend time with them? And wow, isn't it great that they're so free and spontaneous still? You
Mm.
know, that'll get conditioned out of them. Give them time. Yeah, let them go
Yeah.
to school and see how they end
Yep.
up. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
But you're right. I'm not recognizing the good ones. I'm not getting like I don't see myself getting stuck on those or worrying about. I mean, stopping those stories.
yeah,
You know, when I'm having a nice walk, I don't stop that story. How
yeah,
beautiful he is, and
yeah, yeah,
the sunrise this morning was brilliant. Like I didn't stop that story,
yeah.
but I don't want to, right?
Yeah, of
Obviously.
course that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you can not be concerned about looking at the flavor of those stories, or you can say, you know, well, that's equally as interesting as the negative ones, the worry ones.
Yeah,
You
because they are
know?
the same.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so we will get to, and I'll just tell you this ahead of time a little bit, but we will get to ownership of the stories, being personal, identification. That's kind of something that's hidden in the background at this stage, but we're not quite ready to get into that yet. But I'm just telling you because, well, you might have that experience of recognizing how this is about me. This is my story. This is about me, and that's personal. And that's also one of the the stories that has a lot more punch to it, just like the stories of my family. Uh, so we won't we won't worry. We we won't dig too much at it at the moment, but we will get to the point where we'll consider whether it's because it's my family or because it's family.
What's the difference?
Well, if we say it's family, there's association.
Hmm.
If we say it's my family, there's ownership. And there's a lot more identification in ownership, whereas in association, there's just recognition of circumstances.
So could I relate that to having family members but feeling differently about them?
Sure. Yes.
Is that what, the same kind of thing as what you're saying?
Hmm.
Okay, I get that. Because I wouldn't give my kidney to my one of my cousins. I'd give it to
Mm.
my brother, my sister, my kid,
Yeah.
my grand.
Yeah. So it's obvious that with say a cousin, it's just association.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can kind of weave the story about, it's your uncle's child or your
yeah,
auntie's child or something along those lines. So there's a distance, there's a
yes.
remoteness to it, yeah. Whereas your grandkids, there's a closeness to it. And so you can
Well,
still
that's
view it in terms
fine.
of association, but
Yeah,
when you
that's
say, I feel this way because they're my grandkids, that's well, maybe it's true, but that's without losing that specialness, recognizing that there is identification for you in the idea that because it's mine, it's special.
yeah. Okay.
So
And you're
because they're your grandkids, you're more intimate with them. You spend
protect.
time with them and you relate to them in a very, very close fashion, don't you?
Yes.
So that changes the association. So it's still actually an association, right? That you. I mean, imagine that woman, and it's not your sister, but imagine that it's a child and it turns out to be a grandchild, and you didn't know about it until you knew about it. You wouldn't have that special feeling. But that
Wow.
special feeling when you first know about it invites the intimacy, invites you to get close, to have a different kind of an association with it.
Yeah. 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 Wow, that's kind of freaky that it's just a story that does that. That's kind of ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's not
Yeah.
just a story. It's not just a story, right? It is a story. Right? So when we say just a story, we kind of downplay the value, or we kind of we push it away a little bit, if you know what I mean. It's a bit hard to put that into words, but it's just a story reduces its value. And so part of what I was saying before about it's all stories all the way down, right? Says that in fact they're very valuable because they shape our whole world.
That's scary. That
Yeah.
brings fear. That brings like, no, you can't, that can't be right. When it's because I said just, and that's how I'm resisting or to recognize that it is a story.
Mm. So even those ones that cause us to have a reaction that's the beginning of spiraling off into suffering. Uh, if we say, oh well, it's just a story that we believe, and away we go in and end up feeling really bad, really having a lot of suffering. The thing of saying it's just a story is a way of detaching ourselves from the story a little bit. It's a way of pushing it away.
Yes. Yeah.
But, but if you recognize how potent it was before that happened, before you recognize about stories, back in the days when you got lost in it and you didn't even realize that it was a story, it was just It was a fact. It was real, and you got lost in it, and you ended up feeling miserable, totally terrible, terrible, terrible as a result of that. It's bloody powerful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So there's no just a story involved in that. It is a story, and it's super powerful. But then again, the next step is how do we give so much power to a story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't the story itself doesn't contain the power, does it?
No.
It's in our relationship to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Amazing. I find it absolutely amazing. Curiouser and curiouser. Mm.
Oh. Seems like a circus, honestly, if you were going to watch it, if you could watch it. Unravel.
Yep.
Oh boy. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a bit. I get this image. It's a bit like instead of watching a movie on Netflix or instead of watching a movie,
Watch me.
we're watching the making of the movie. We're seeing the cameras and we're seeing the props and we're seeing the all of the ancillary cast and everybody doing their thing and the director there doing his thing and so on. We can see all of that going on. Yeah.
You mean our life, right? That's what you're saying? That's what it's like. We're right in the movie.
Yep.
We get like front and center in it. And the next step is to recognize the identification of it, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
But not as a doing. It's just something that will happen. It will expose itself. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to do anything. Just as a result of this conversation, you might discover, ah, there's the connection to that. And guess what? When you see the connection, it changes.
So when we see pictures of our experiences and those in the pictures that we have such an attachment to, what would be valuable to recognize? I guess we've already spoke about it, but to recognize the attachment to the person and the flavor of it, and maybe the sadness and the Jesus making me emotional.
So are you thinking of a particular situation, a particular person?
Yeah, I was just glancing around my place and I saw a picture of my mom.
Mm.
I was happy like 3 seconds ago.
Are you happy being sad? Or whatever it is you're experiencing?
I don't like it. No.
You could be just be with me here for a moment. You can experience something that once upon a time would have been described as unpleasant. And it turns out to be not unpleasant, not comfortable, definitely not comfortable, but you can be really, I mean, these days, if I get sad, I'm really happy to be sad. It feels good. Even though I might be crying and it looks like I'm suffering, I'm not. It's kind of weird to describe that. But the human condition isn't a binary one. It's not black or white, happy or sad. We can experience all of that stuff together in one, and it's can get very mixed up and still be legitimate.
Hmm.
So when we miss somebody, it's obvious that we're missing something good.
Hmm.
And for you to miss something good, you have to re-experience the good and then the missing of it. And they happen together. They don't happen one after the other. They happen together. So you can feel really good about the fact that you've got something good to miss. And from on the outside, it looks like you're feeling sad because you're missing something. But you're missing something that you felt good about. You felt good about, and you're re-experiencing it to remember that you felt good about it. And even though you're missing it, you're feeling it as well. It's really complex and really interesting stuff.
Wow.
Can you get that one?
Yeah, in a way I do. In a weird way I do. In a
It
weird
is
way I
weird. It
understand
is
that.
weird, isn't it? It's not the normal social thing. It's not the way we've been taught life is, but it is the way life is. The way we
Yeah, I
were
miss how
taught was what was
she was.
wrong, not the way it is.
Yeah, I miss how wonderful she was and her her child play, her oh wow, like she was so
Yeah,
beautiful. So yeah. So I'm missing how beautiful she was.
yeah.
That makes me want to feel sad.
Yes. And it's beautiful to feel sad. It's a lovely feeling. It brings tears to my eyes just to talk about it. I
Because
discovered I discovered just after I woke up when a really good friend of mine, my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, she died of cancer after a long period of time. And I recognized that I had no grief about the fact that she died, but I was immensely sad. And I feel it again now when I talk about it. And but it was sweet. It was the sadness was so sweet. It was beautiful.
Wow, that makes so much sense, Vince, because there's people who have passed. I don't feel the same way.
Mm. People get lost in the grief, which is
Yeah.
the stories that are attached to sadness. And they say, well, it shouldn't have happened. And they get
Yes.
lost in that. Whereas if they just accept what is, then they don't have the stories about what shouldn't have been, and they can just enjoy the sadness. They can
Yeah.
just lose themselves in the sadness. And it is a incredibly releasing.
To understand that part, that why they're so sad, and so to if one were to see the beauty of that, what you just described to me, it's all that love they have and the memories of the beautiful person they were coming up for you to experience again. But
Mm,
because we're putting a story to it, why they shouldn't have died, they were too young, da 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 da, it makes it feel painful.
yes. Yeah.
They think it's pain, whereas it wasn't to bit pain, it was love coming up
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. So if we say that all suffering is a result of resistance, you can see
Yeah,
it in that example really easily, eh?
yes,
Yeah.
very much. Very much. Oh, I hope I have the opportunity to share that with some people that are grieving so bad right now. Wow, that's beautiful.
Mm.
Oh, I'm lucky. Thank you, Vince.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. I get such wonderful feelings out of this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay to cry. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I recognized a long time ago now was that this waking up stuff opens us up to a full range of human experiences. It's not just that wonderful bliss contentment kind of thing that seekers yearn for. It's the ability to feel the full
Yes.
spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
And
Yes.
really, really abandon ourselves into it. Because who gives a shit what we look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's liberating in itself. Oh wow. This body's going to have another coffee. So I'm going to go grab one and hopefully somebody else can take the stage for you for a while.
Sure.
Oh, wow. Nice. Is this recording
Yes,
posted? Okay. Super.
and it's. I just imagine that somebody watching this will really resonate to what we've spoken about and your experience and so on, and we'll get
Oh,
good value
that's
out of
great.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. And if not, but wow.
Well,
Life.
a couple of hundred people will watch it, and they keep doing it, so they must be getting something out of it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? That so much of what we experience, others, their version of it, is really somehow connected.
Yeah.
Mm.
That we could relate, you mean? Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
yeah, yep. So, as a matter of interest, I what I used to do was do a story and an investigation one day, and then a song the next day. And I just got so far ahead of myself, I was posting it to the end of June. So what I decided to do was to put the story and investigation, and then on the same day put the song out about it. So I've been putting them out together, and just for a couple of days now, uh, and I've done that in the future, and uh, I'm still up till the middle of May, I think, with the stories I've got scheduled to go out and so on. But I did have a slight concern that maybe I'm overdoing too many emails, too much bombardment of people with those like that. Have you had any experience? What's your thoughts about that one?
Oh, it
Have you?
doesn't bother me at all. I think it's
Mm.
great. Like I have it if I don't want to look at it then, I can
You
look at it
you don't
later.
have to. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Turn off
yeah.
notifications, it's no, I think it's great.
All right, good.
I love it.
Well, I've also, because of the I've got so far ahead with those stories, I've actually already finished the next book of stories. So I'm putting them into an ebook and a PDF every time I reach 50 stories. So I'm now working on the seventh book.
Wow.
But I haven't told everybody about the sixth book yet because there's a few of those, quite a few of those stories are not yet out on the daily basis. They're out there, but I'm thinking, yeah, well, I'll tell people, and if they want to jump ahead and get the book rather than wait for the daily thing, or do both, or whatever, that's fine too. I might, yeah.
I want to print them and keep and make myself a book.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
I like
I have I
paper.
have thought about putting them onto Amazon. Um, And if I do, I'd put them up as ebooks, and you can order a paper copy that way if you wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do a paper copy if you request it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But anyway,
maybe.
but you're welcome. You're welcome to just print it out for sure. Yeah. If, whether the I'm not sure if you were to print it whether the PDF would be the best version or the ebook version would be the best way to do it. For the ebook, to read the ebook, you would need to have Kindle or some ebook reader of some
Yeah,
kind to see it as an
yeah,
ebook. But as a PDF, anybody can read that. It's just
yeah,
one big long document, that's all. Yeah.
yeah. I think you should put it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, I don't quite know how to go about that, but it's
Oh,
worth looking into. Yeah.
mhm.
I rather imagine, remembering back when I was a seeker, I couldn't get my hands on enough information. Um, and so, although there's a lot out there now that was never out there then, uh, I can imagine, if it was me and I was a seeker, I'd be really interested in using these. I would imagine I'd get some good out
Oh,
of them. Yeah.
yeah. Depending on where you are in your seeking stage, let's say, this is golden right now for well for myself. Reading so many books and nothing practical in it for you. Like it's just all mind knowledge, right? But this, what you offer is actual life situation and how to look into it, where you don't get that in books. You
Mm,
just don't get the same. You don't practicality,
yeah.
simplicity. It's yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to look into how to go about doing that. I kind of just want to make them. I just get so much enjoyment out of doing them that I just finished last night. Um, Actually, so what I do is when I make the stories and the song, I put the stories into a program called Pages on the Apple. It's like it'll be Word, I think, in Microsoft, but it's Pages, and it's I've set it up with a book and a table of contents and so on like that, and then I put it onto Substack as well. Um, Well, I forgot why I was telling you that now. I got lost in that.
you have so
I'm
much fun doing.
thinking ahead. Yeah. Um,
You enjoy doing it so much. You were saying,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. Yeah. And what happens is I'll get a summary of these meetings. And so when I read through the summary, if something jumps out at me as something that we've spoken about, then I think, okay, well, that's relevant. And so I might use a line or two out of that summary to start the creation of the story and the investigation, what the story is about, and then an investigation, and then do the song about that as well. Anyway, so last night I ended up with I think about seven stories that I needed to get into, you know, put into the pages and put on Substack, schedule them. There's a
out
bit
of
of
one
work
meeting,
involved. Yeah, yeah. But so when I do one story, it kind of leads on to the next story and the next story and the next story. Yeah. So I end up with a whole heap that I've got to process. Yeah. But it's good. I get a lot out of it, and when I do the song, that takes the most time because I'm frequently listening to the song in different genres to try and find a flavor that suits the content of the what the lyrics are about, and so on. So I'm playing with all these different genres of music, and I end up having to listen to them all and decide which
Yeah,
one is the good one. Yeah. So I
yeah, I
can
could see
spend a
how
bit
that.
of time on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you must spend a lot of time doing this. Like you have 2 to 3 hours on meetings, and then the time for the stories and the songs, and that's a lot of time. And you
Well,
have,
yeah. At I c- yeah, I do, but I enjoy it. And I won't go as far as to say it's my life, but it's a very significant part of my life for
yeah,
sure. But I mean, this afternoon, my wife and I played bowls. That took all afternoon doing bowls, and I go to golf a couple of times a week, and so I do other things as well. But
right.
yeah, I do. She sees me with absorbed in the computer quite a lot of the time.
That
Yeah,
she does. Well, that gives her her
yeah,
time for herself, right?
yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
All right. Well, look, you go and get your coffee, and I'll go to bed. I think it's 11:30 here, so
Oh
I'll ha
yeah, okay.
I'll have an early night tonight. Yeah,
And I'll start my day.
yeah. All right.
I'll start the film.
Yeah. It's been it's been great talking to you. Yeah,
And same to you, Vince. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thanks, Jenny. Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.